I started to see this strong, sexy man that knew what he wanted, that wasn't going to settle for anything less. And that was when it was up to me to make the changes and do the inner work to become the man that he deserved, to become the partner that he deserved. Hi, Zach Bowles here, co-creator, co-founder of Game Man Thriving. In this video, I want to speak to a very common pattern that I'm seeing quite a bit amongst the gay men that I work with. And it's a one-sidedness in their relationships where whether you're single or partnered, you're the one that is giving much more than you're receiving. And I want to help you understand that a lot of the things that you might be trying to bridge the gap, to create more connection, to create more reciprocal energy, might be having the opposite effect. You see, I've worked with thousands of gay men over the past 7 years, and together with my husband and the team at Game Man Thriving, we have really cracked the code on what it takes to build more reciprocal, balanced, loving, healthy connections. And I really wanted to share a little bit about my previous experience in my own codependent patterns with my husband in our relationship. You see, I've posted a lot about what we call caregiver energy, which is the tendency to overgive, overfunction, fall into patterns of people-pleasing and self-sacrificing to prove your worth, to prove your love, to try to help create more connection. We're taught to treat people the way you want to be treated, right? And so when you want to feel loved and you want to feel appreciated, you might think that the more that you give, the more available you make yourself, the more they'll meet you halfway. But what I've learned from personal experiences and working with so many gay men is that this often has an opposite effect. And in my relationship with my husband, we've come a long way, but in the early years of our relationship, there was a lot of this one-sidedness. And I have to admit that I was more selfish. I took my husband for granted because he was the one overgiving, overfunctioning, making himself overly available, and trying so hard to be there for me, to make me feel loved, to make me feel appreciated and honored, and really put me on a pedestal. And without realizing it, he was really teaching me to look down on him. And even when he would come to me and try to tell me how much he wanted me to meet him halfway, how he was feeling unappreciated and taken for granted, I really didn't take him seriously. It wasn't until he finally reached a point where he couldn't tolerate this behavior for me anymore, and the resentment had built up to a point where he initiated a lot of changes in our relationship. It wasn't until I saw Andrew not only setting boundaries, but honoring his boundaries. It wasn't just him communicating what he wanted and needed. It was me seeing him embody an energy that made me realize that he wasn't going to continue tolerating my lack of effort. It wasn't until I saw him thriving on his own without me, having fun and being able to fill his own cup without needing my validation or without needing me to need him, before I saw him in a whole new light. And where I had previously seen him as someone that I didn't really respect or even value, I started to see this strong, sexy man that knew what he wanted, that wasn't going to settle for anything less. It wasn't until I saw him embody what we call big king energy, the energy of self-assuredness and self-respect and self-love, where I realized that it was up to me to then meet him in a higher energetic frequency. It was up to me to decide if I was going to make changes to meet him in a reciprocal, balanced, healthy dynamic, because he was no longer going to be available for me if I didn't change. Fortunately, I made the decision, instead of finding someone else to take care of me, I made the decision to step up and become the partner that he deserved by learning how to meet him halfway. And it wasn't coming from a place of obligation. It was me wanting to please him, me wanting to chase after him, because he took a step back and started honoring and respecting himself. And it really inspired me to want to meet him there. And this is at the core of the work that we do at Gay Men Thriving, is really helping gay men embody that king energy, where you know that you are so grounded in your worth and value, you aren't going to settle and sacrifice for anything less than what you know you deserve and desire. You're so in tune and aligned with your core values and what matters most to you. You're still loving and kind and generous, but you're equally loving and kind and generous to yourself. You see, in the past, that's what Andrew was missing. He was prioritizing everyone else's needs ahead of his own, and then not feeling reciprocated. It wasn't until I saw him putting more effort and energy into filling his own cup that I really had a wake-up call and realized, if I don't step the fuck up, I'm gonna lose this amazing man who is so dynamic and is so powerful and is so magnetic. And it helped me see him in a different light. I realized that it was up to me to make some changes. And I'm so glad that I did, because today our relationship is hotter and more spicy and more passionate than I could have ever imagined. We are equals in our relationship. We're both giving, we're both receiving in a really balanced, healthy way. And I love that we've done some really deep work over the past year to be able to balance that intimacy and that closeness and that beautiful, vulnerable connection where we get to see and share all parts of ourselves with one another, balancing that with the curiosity and the mystery and the excitement that fuels the erotic spark in a romantic connection. And even after 9 years together, I love that our sex life is hotter than ever. Our intimacy, our passion, our romance is just so magnetic and so on fire, because we know how to balance both things. Because we've both done the inner work to master our inner game. Andrew had to heal the part of himself that felt like he needed people to need him to feel important. I had to heal the part of myself that believed that I needed someone to take care of me. We had to heal that part of us that felt incomplete and felt like we were lacking in some way. And from a sense of wholeness, we've been able to step into building on a solid foundation our big king energy, which is that confidence and that strength and that conviction and that boldness, where we know we are worthy of having amazing things and we're not afraid to explore it. And from that place of king energy, we've also learned the communication skills to really have the courageous conversations, what a lot of couples avoid and bury under the rug, to really face the things and know how to communicate in an impeccable way where we take ownership of our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Without blaming the other person, we're able to communicate with each other how we're feeling about certain situations from a place of ownership. I feel like we've grown so tremendously over the last 9 years, and I love that I still get to see Andrew, this man that I know, that I wake up next to every morning, as this growing, evolving being that I continue rediscovering and falling more and more and more in love with every day. And that translates into the bedroom as just magnetic, fiery, passionate eroticism that is just so incredibly mind-blowing, because we get to have it all. And I'm sharing this with you because this is available to you, whether you are single or in a relationship. When you learn how to master the inner game, access your big king energy, and build next level connections through courageous communication and magnetic conversation skills, you too can have this level of connection. And I would love to invite you to be another success story. We've, over the last 7 years, worked with hundreds of gay men one-on-one, thousands in a larger capacity, to help them create more passion, more love, more romance that grows stronger over time. And if you're someone who would like to explore how we might be able to help you, I invite you to click the link somewhere near this video, read more about what we're offering and how we work with gay men. And if it feels aligned, I invite you to fill out a short questionnaire, schedule a call where we can really dive deep into seeing if our programs and services are a good fit for you. If you're ready to step into your king energy of confidence and power and boldness and really learn how to master your communication skills, this is the perfect 3-month program for you. So if this sounds aligned, I invite you to click the link, take a look, see if it feels like something you want to explore and invest in. And if it is, I would love to work with you. I hope this was helpful. Bye for now.